Tibet Foundation, Kaziranga, Assam. We welcome you, sir. We also have Madam Navonita Chakraborty, who is a member of Friends of Environment Society, and all other office bearers and members of Friends of Environment Society, my honorable colleagues and dear students, participants from Kolkata and from other places. I welcome you all to today's webinar. I'm sure at the end of this webinar, all of us will pledge once again to save Mother Earth from further damage with an eye on the future generations so that they can also have the earth as a beautiful place to live in. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Now I request Professor Chonchol Guhorai, IQAC Coordinator and Associate Professor of Department of Mathematics, for a special address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Krishna Ganguly. Welcome to all in this national seminar on aspects of biodiversity and climatic change issue in the present scenario, which aims to bring together scientists, researchers, and students to exchange views and share their experiences. It also provides a premier interdisciplinary platform of academicians to present the most recent innovations, trends, and concerns, as well as the practical challenges encountered and solutions adopted in the field of biodiversity and climatic change. Today, it has been established that climatic change has a crucial effect on the biodiversity. Over the past few decades, several models have been developed to predict the impact of climatic change on biodiversity. Results from these models have suggested some alarming consequences of climatic change for biodiversity, predicting, for example, that in the next century, many planets and animals will go extinct, and there could be a large scale dieback on tropical rainforest. Several studies indicate that taking of certain important factors can seriously alter the model prediction. The recent studies suggest that the habitat heterogeneity resulting from the topographic diversity may be essential for persistence of biota in future changing climate. Highly contrasting predictions have also been obtained when bioclimatic models of tropical biomes included the physiological effect of elevated atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration and the temperature on the earth. Many studies have indicated that increased atmospheric carbon dioxide affects photosynthesis rate and enhance net primary productivity, more so in the tropical than in temperature region. The multiple components of climatic change are anticipated to affect all the level of biodiversity from the organism to biome level. Many studies have investigated the effect of climatic change on the future of biodiversity. In this webinar, we will look the different possible effect of climatic change that can operate at the individual, population, species, community, ecosystem, and biome scale. Notably, showing that species can respond to the climatic change challenges by shifting their climatic niche along three non-exclusive axes: time, space, and the self, that means physiology. It has been found that the current estimates are variable depending on the method, taxonomy group, biodiversity loss matrices, spatial scales, time periods, etc. Yet, the majority of the models indicate the alarming consequence of biodiversity, with the worst case scenario leading to the extinction rate. Predicting the responsibility of biodiversity to climatic change has become an extremely active field of research. Today, the prediction play an important role in altering the decision maker to potential future risks, provide a mean to bolster attribution of biological changes to the climate change, and can support the development of proactive strategy to reduce the climatic change impact on biodiversity. Although there is relatively limited evidence of current extinctions caused by climate change, studies suggest that climate change could suppress the habitat of destruction as the greatest global threat to the biodiversity over the next few years to come. However, the multiplicity of the approach and the resulting variability in the projection make it difficult to get a clear picture of the future diversity under the different scenario of global climatic change. Hence, there is an urgent need to understand the effect of climatic change on biodiversity and our capacity to protect future impact using models. Moreover, one can highlight several challenges for future research from their theoretical, for example, emerging models, and applied, for example, population, conservation, and exploitations realms. It may be noted that climatic change could also have the positive effect on the biodiversity, resulting in an acceleration of biomass production. It may be pointed out that the most of the works reveal that recent model analysis is done by the use of finite difference technique or finite element methods as the mathematical tool to predict various effects of climatic change on biodiversity. This is because the governing equation of such phenomena are expressed as a system of nonlinear differential equations together with certain initial and boundary conditions appropriate to the particular problem. Further, the graphical methods are based on the properties of the characteristics equation and numerical approximation. In a numerical model for biodiversity based on Alfred Lotka's notion that the mathematics of evolution model would be simpler if the evolution of the organism and their physical environment is considered as a single process. However, the multiple components of climatic change are anticipated to affect all the levels of biodiversity from the organism to biome levels. They primarily concern various strengths and forms of fitness decrease, which are expressed as different levels and have effect on individuals, populations, species, ecological networks, and ecosystem. At the most basic level of diversity, climatic change is able to decrease the genetic diversity of populations due to directional selection and rapid migration, which could in turn affect the ecosystem functioning and the relations. Finally, on the behalf of IQSC Netaji Nagar Day College, we wish a great success of this webinar. Thank you all.
Session will be starting. Welcome to the first technical session of this webinar. Today, our first honorable speaker is Dr. Apurva Ratan Ghosh, Professor of Environmental Science, University of Burdwan. He was the director of UGC Academic Staff College of the University of Burdwan. Dr. Ghosh has received the Indian Science Academy Visiting Fellowship and Fellowship from Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, Mumbai. He has received Best Presenter Award from IUEAS Austin, USA, and acted as invited speaker and panel expert in the University of Manchester, Texas, UK, and BITS in China. He has got authorship of 8 books, 8 chapters in edited volumes, and 103 research papers published in referred national and international journals. Professor Ghosh is actively engaged as member coordinator with PR team of NAC. He has got experience to work as an expert member of UGC, NUPA, Assam Public Service Commission, Jharkhand Public Service Commission, etc. He has been assigned as resource person to deliver lectures on academic audit and green audit in different academic institutions. He is a life member of different national and international bodies and editorial board of national and international peer-reviewed journals. He has also chaired over 12 national and international conferences. And today he will be sharing his expert opinion with us. So now I request Dr. Apurva Ratan Ghosh to be on the platform. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam. Namaste, everyone. And I am very happy, and really it's a proud privilege for me to be associated with you, in particular the Netaji Nagar Day College, in this webinar organized jointly with Friends of Environmental Society. I am thankful to my research scholar student, Professor Deep Chakraborty, who has talked to me in the initially, and also Sujoy Babu, and here the principal ma'am for her nice deliberation, covering a very touchy essence of this subject. And I'm very much thankful to the director or coordinator of IQAC, Professor Chanchal, that really today, what about the data in particular, linking with mathematics in terms of a dynamic or static model, that is very much required in near future, so that you can predict, you can give the next thinking of the subject, whatever it is. Because you see that this pandemic, this outbreak, if we have got some mathematical models along with the data to feed on it, then we can guess something from it. So man can be prepared accordingly. And Madam has nicely deliberated the impact of climate change on biodiversity. Obviously, I will start with this point, that this is the era or epoch which is called Anthropocene. In this Anthropocene, the anthropogenic climate change is impacting most of the life on Earth. As you know, the variations in the biological organisms on this Earth in the terrestrial, in the freshwater, in the marine species, and in the habitats in the Mother Earth. So the biodiversity is a very vital survival for all the life. It is not only connected with the life, but it is also connected with the goods, economic growth, and services that allows the man to survive in this earth. So if there is any destruction in the biodiversity, don't think that the human life will be restored or it will be safe. So seriously, on thinking of it, the 5th of June, 48th of World Environment Day 2020, it was the People's Day. Objective was to show their care. That means the people will show their care and support for the earth to protect the environment. That is why the World Environment Day 2020 was celebrated in terms of biodiversity or celebration biodiversity. And I must be thankful to the organizers for selecting this topic in their webinar, because it is the high time to make a consciousness, to give an awareness amongst the student, among the people, to get some thing, some bit of sense that how do we will protect our biological diversity. It may not be only in the number. It is also ecological, genetical, and other variations. The topic, that is why I think about, that is the biological annihilation. And that means we are going to the 6th mass extinction event. I will be discussing about it. Let us have the first slide, please. You see, first slide, please. Next one. Deep, next one. Okay. Thank you. I must talk about the man, father of evolution, because I want to start with him. The Charles Darwin, at the age of 15, was sent to study the medicine in Edinburgh University. But he thought that it is an intolerably dull subject. So after 2 years, he left. And he went to another Christian university that is it's another university that is in the Cambridge. And there, he came in contact with a person, the big person who was named and became famous due to Darwin, that the botanist, Professor John Hensley. And he was naturalist, botanist, geologist. And he first recommended Darwin as a gentleman naturalist to join in his voyage. The name of the ship is HMS Beagle, that is His or Her Majesty ship Beagle. In the year 1931, he has started his journey from Plymouth of UK and spent some days in Galapagos. Now, why I'm talking about this island Galapagos? Because the origin, the thinking, the concept of the species, if I consider, that is evolved from this point of marking. Next, please. If you see this evolutionary background of the species, 3.3 billion years ago, the first living biological organism, which is called cyanobacteria, the blue-green algae, appeared in this earth from anaerobic world to the aerobic world. After that, we have got this Homo sapiens, then Homo sapiens sapiens. Now, what about the anthropogenic activity? In the epoch of this Anthropocene, that is connected with this species, with the evolution of species. Next, please. So, the different species that it is available today, if you consider the number, it is only 21 lakh. But if you consider how many of it is not known to us, but available in this earth, the number is 150 to 2,000 crores. And when we are considering the availability of the species within this earth, we have to consider the 10,000 meter constant, because if you consider the surface of the earth, then above the 10,000 meter and below the 10,000 meter, there is an existence of life. But always this is not true, because we know in Ethiopia, there is a lake which is called Dalol Lake. The Dalol Lake, where the temperature is very high, very saline and highly acidic. So there, the scientists not even today have found any microbes. Though our blue-green planet, it is the only planet, as mentioned by our madam, that it is a habitat for the mankind, habitat for the living organisms. Now, obviously, there is a scientific logic behind it. Why the earth is only having this habitat? Let's see in my next slide that this is the position of the earth, our planet, which we know as Goldilocks, Jhumkolata, beautiful and bountiful. It is not too hot, not too cold, but just right. The temperature is 15 plus minus 0.5 degrees centigrade. This is the average temperature of the earth. There is a slight change today, but the position of the earth in the solar system is very, very important. Why? Because the position of the earth, if you consider, the first position nearest to the sun is our Venus, where the distance is 107 million kilometers, and the temperature is 464 degrees centigrade. If you consider the farthest one, it is the Mars, our red planet, where the temperature is minus 63 degrees centigrade. And our earth is placed in between. You see, this is the placed in between. In between means that this presentation, somebody is presenting in between. Can you stop it? Jhuma Saha, maybe. So the position of the earth in this planet sim, in the planet, is very, very important. Now, why? Because in one hand, it is maintaining the temperature. In another hand, it is giving the concentration of the carbon dioxide, which is congenial for the earth, which is congenial for the habitat. So this is the position of the planet, particularly earth. In this case, it may be considered as one of the biggest points, one of the very important point for its existence of all life in this earth. May I have the next slide, please? Now, some of the pictures I want to show you, these are very primitive in this case. This primitive one, suppose your what we call cockroach, your some reptiles. You see, I hope that it is not you are not seeing, because somebody is already sharing it. I don't know. It can be. So these are some. Jhumpa Saha, Jhuma, maybe she is presenting her presentation. Okay. Now you see, these are some, I want to show you some of the very good slides of the existence of the previous species which we cannot see right now today, but their existence is very much proved. Next one, please. These are some species. No, previous one, please. Yes, this one. These are all the species which was available at that time. Next one, please. Now, why we have considered that the loss of biodiversity, or in the World Environment Day, the concept of this biodiversity. If you see that once upon a time, I have considered the two data in 94, 95, and in the red color, you see in the red color, these are the data of 2005. That how many species so far? In the case of mammals, out of 5,416, that 1,101 are extinct. So these are the number of data which is available today. It was only 2005 that I am showing to all of you. So the consciousness and awareness is required to be imbibed amongst the students as well as in the faculty members, not only faculty members, but the social personality may be aware about it. Next, please. Now to consider this biological diversity, the first man that I want to mention, that is the Thomas Lovejoy. He termed it biological diversity. And after that, in the year 1985, Rosen, he mentioned this word biological diversity in his book. But the personality, the scientist, the naturalist, Wilson, he defined the biodiversity. And he first mentioned what is the importance of this biodiversity. Next one, please. So when we are getting the essence of the importance of this, the importance of the biodiversity was discussed in different forums, not only in World Environment Day, but in other ways. So if you consider the first one in the year 1986, the concept of a tree for peace. In 1997, for life on Earth. In 1998, so you see the consecutively, the diversity, the biological diversity was discussed in different World Environment Day. And in the 2010, it was declared as International Year of Biodiversity. In continuation with this, UNEP, United Nations Environmental Protection Agency, they have taken the program which is called 2021 to 2030 as the decade of ecological restoration and protection. Next one, please. When they are discussing about it, this discussion was first held in Madrid in December 2019. And they declared that the next year, that means 2020, the theme of the World Environment Day will be biodiversity or celebration biodiversity. And this will be organized by the Colombia, that is the second largest mega biodiversity country in the world, along with Germany, and UNEP will support them. Now you see why it is Colombia. This is the very big question and very sensitive question, why it is Colombia. India has also participated 3 times into organizing this World Environment Day, for your information. Now, Colombia is the second largest mega diversity after Brazil. And they are the first among the bird, orchid, and plant species in the world. They are the second in butterfly, freshwater fish, and amphibians. Next, they are third in reptiles, and there are so many invertebrates, which is amounting to 3 lakh. So they are very rich in biological diversity. Next one, please. Now, these are the countries, these are the nations. I have arranged them in one hand alphabetically, in another hand according to their position. Our India occupying the 16th of its position, and Madagascar is the 17th in position. Next one, please. But I want to say that among these all species, in particular, as it is also mentioned by the director IQAC, that the 10
মিউট হয়ে গেছে, হ্যাঁ স্যার মিউট হয়ে গেছে, শোনা যাচ্ছে।
Okay. So 70% you see in the species, those who are invertebrates, but within this 70%, 95% are not identified so far. And according to Norman, I will be giving you a very important and inside data that 80,000 plant species are consumed by the humankind. And among the 200 species are used by at least 20% of the world population. And 4 food items, that means potato, maize, wheat, are used by the 80% of the population in the world for energy requirement. And you will be surprised to note that once upon a time, this India, even today, is the second largest producer and exporter of the world. And before Green Revolution, we have got 42,000 varieties of rice in India. Now, we have only 20% of it. Our West Bengal, we are proud of our state that it is the Rice Bowl of India. And in 1965 or up to 1965, there are 4,800 varieties of rice. Rice is our property. Whatever it is called by Texamoti, that is from Texas, or it may be called from California as a Kalmoti, but it is our Basmati. We are proud of that. Next one, please. India is the fourth hotspots in biodiversity among the 36 hotspots so far in the world. Once upon a time, we have unique species like the single horn rhino. As you know, that the rhino is most endangered species today. Why? Because of its horn. Our Gir forest, the lion, our desert camel, wild ass of Rann of Kutch. India is also the land of spices. Among it is bringing $212 billion for us simply by exporting the famous spices, which is called cumin, that is jeera, red chili, turmeric, and green cardamom. So we are also rich with the name, as a once upon a time it was named, the India is the land of spices. Next one, please. Now this, next one, please. Next one. So this is bringing the, as I told you, the money. And according to UN Council, the third world countries are making business with at least $30 million by using the plants, microbes, and animals. And this Madagascar is very famous for producing 2 types of anti-cancer drug, that is vincristine and vinblastine. And they are derived it from their Madagascar periwinkle, which is called the Catharanthus roseus. The botanist personality may be knowing this. And they are making their economic growth up to $15 million. India is also not behind of it. But considering this thing, the Americans, they are also spending $104 million to conserving the biodiversity. Next, please. Now this tree that you have seen, which is producing the Taxol, it is anti-cancer chemical. And this tree, Pacific yew tree, is in threatened. Now the huge poacher, as well as some people, they are destroying this forest. Next, please. So now it is threatened. Climate change is destroying it. It has got 2 ends. One by elevating the sea level, and second one by rising the atmospheric temperature. So if we calculate what is the loss of it, if you calculate the loss of it, then it should be amounting to $33 trillion, simply the double of world GNP, gross national product. So it is obvious that this is the time we have to save it. We have to make it. Next, please. These are some of the species. Some of them are threatened. Some of them are endangered. Next, please. These are some of the species. Once again, next please. This is a rhino. Next one. These are some of the species, which is, you see this passenger pigeon. This is the last, which was in Karnataka Zoo, name was Marsa. She died for the female one, the very beautiful bird. Next. Next, please. This is, I am sure to mention that this previous one plus Deep, previous one. You see this white-coated harp seal. In 1980, it was reported that 2 lakh, this baby seal was destroyed only due to its fur coat, which brings forth the money of 1 lakh rupees every fur coat, which was mostly used by the Japanese people. You see the 9 branded armadillo, it is used for the leprosy medicine. This is another endangered species. This is another endangered species, which was only found in zoos. Next one, please. So why I am talking about this 6th mass extinction? If you see, the first mass extinction was held in Ordovician Silurian extinction, when 86% of the species was lost. Actually, the mass extinction is occurred due to some catastrophic effect. And we are thinking about it, the 6th mass extinction, where the 50% of the animal individuals are already extinct. 83% of the wild mammals disappeared from the dawn of human evolution. That means starting from Homo erectus to Homo sapiens sapiens. Next, please. So the scientists are worried about this mass extinction. That is why I have chosen it. Now, if it, obviously my students will be thinking, who is responsible for that? We know the carbon dioxide is the mostly responsible for that. And within the year, that means this concentration of the carbon dioxide, it's a hike up to 400 ppm if you consider 2018-19. And what is the result of that? As a result of that, once upon a time, from 1600 to 1850, within these 250 years, we have seen the rate of extinction of the species was 2 to 3%. Now, in every decade, 20,000 species are lost. And this year, the scientists are worried about it, that they are approaching in endangered, that is 20 lakh species. Next, please. So the consideration of this anthropogenic activity in the epoch of Anthropocene, if there is any geographer or geologist, they might be talking about that from where you have got this terminology. I can say that this terminology was coined by Eguin F. Stoiber. And for your information, it was stated and supported by the Nobel laureate Paul Krugman. You know, he is talking about the ozone depletion and the mechanism of ozone depletion, for which he has got the Nobel along with his other 2 friends. And so you may be thinking that what is the era? What is the starting point of this Anthropocene? They have pointed out that this Anthropocene was started in the year 1945 after the Trinity nuclear bomb on the 16th of July, 1945. So from this area, from this year or era, the scientists are thinking that man has done 2 things. One in Earth's geology and ecosystem. So ecosystem is not the local condition of your area. Ecosystem as a whole. Ecosystem, it's a science. It's a concept. And it's a political organization. So ecosystem, not only the relation between the living and non-living, it is more than that. And if you cannot restore, if you cannot think or resist this deforestation, urbanization, and industrialization, you have to go for it. You have to pay for it. And man is paying for his procrastination. I'm sure about it. Because they are using this huge amount of DDT, as you know. Who has got the Nobel by using the DDT as a pesticide. That is Sir James Muller. But now this pesticide, next one please, this pesticide, this pesticide is causing huge loss of our economy. As you know, there is a natural case of pollination. And due to this spraying of insecticide, we are going for $200 billion loss. And this loss is only due to there is no natural pollination. And this can cause this amount of loss, $200 billion. It may be that. Once upon a time, 1945 to 1950, the northern part of the America, they have produced their crops 200 times. But right now, this is causing the loss of $200 billion. Yes, next please. You see that Aristotle, next one please. Aristotle told, yes, that is the plants are created for the animals and the animals are for serving the human being. And it was also supported by Immanuel Kant, who told that man is the boss. When I'm relating the loss of biodiversity and the role of man, I will show you the next slide where I will mention it. Darwin also, not only thing, Darwin also told that the human evolution is in the pinnacle. So man has gained this power. Man has gained this power to reign over all the organisms. When I'm talking about the power of the man, next one, please. When I'm talking about the power of the man, next, please. Deep, next. Next. Sorry. Deep, next. Yes. When I'm talking about the power of the man, you can see that the cranial capacity of the man in the hominid group was not so high. The cranial capacity was less. But the Homo sapiens sapiens, the cranial capacity was more. But at that time, man was solely dependent on hunting and food gathering. So from it can be in your mind that at that time, man was going for procurement of the food, which is the fruits as well as the dead animals. Deep, it is not showing in the slides. Deep. Slideshow is not there. Sorry for the disturbance. I might be excused from the audience, from my listeners, good listeners. I might be excused for that. So that you see, when I'm talking about the power of the cranial capacity, you see that I have made this comparison. Why? Because at that time you may see that the nature of the man is a hunting and food gathering. But sometimes anthropologists told that no, the man has the capacity at that time, it was only 588 cc. And the modern man, which is the average of the 1370 cc. So he has got some power more than it. Next one, please. If you want to make a clear visualization of the power of the man, then you can see the man started the domestication of the animals, which was recorded from the Egypt in 44,000 to 40,000 BC. And at that time, the humans started the hunting in 2 million years ago. And I can say that in our epic, that is in Manu Shastra, in another Dharma Shastra, Manu Samhita, that is the Dharma Shastra, it is not ethical or advisable to improve oneself meat by others' meat. Now, why I'm talking so? Because to get the meat from others, that means that animal has to sacrifice. And this sacrifice of the animals, either you kill it or hunt it, resulting into the loss of the animal diversity, which we are doing in excess. So only this one city of Hubei province in China must not be blamed alone. There are some bushmeat, there are some live animal trading, which is destruction, which is reason for the destruction of the biodiversity. Next, please. There are so many. Next, please. There are so many this wet market in this world, in this nation. And for your information, if within these 50 years the human population became double, we have grown the animal meat 3 times faster than this. And every year we are killing 2 crore terrestrial animals for the human consumption, and 1.2 trillion aquatic fish or aquatic lives for human consumption. Can you think about it? What is a big business behind it? In Africa, particularly in the central part of Africa, there are $73 million business annually. And one African can get $1,000 in a month. So whole world is making the trade of this business, $1 crore $23 lakh yearly. As I told you earlier when I have started it, that it's a big economic growth and services. Next one, please. Now let's see some of the wet market available in the world. Next one, please. These are the European market, where 11,000 pounds of animals and bush meat are per week. It was selling the. You see, this one bamboo rat in London. It was the cost is about $40. One monkey, it is of cost is $140. The single mango, and this monkey is under the threat of the human being. And every year, this wet market trading 40,000 primates, 40 lakh birds, 6.5 lakh reptiles, 3.5 crore of tropical fish and fish products. So what a huge loss of the diversity that man is causing through his trading. Next one, please. So these are the famous market in China, Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Bangkok. And in Indonesia, you have seen that is a big market, Northern Sulawesi market. Every year they are selling 90,000 mammals. And Thailand, every week they are trading 70,000 live birds of 276 species. After observing all these things, Andrew Cunningham told that these wet markets are time bomb. The day will come when this time bomb will burst and it will spread the disease, cause the outbreak in one hand and loss of biodiversity in another part. But it is not caused by the poor people. It is caused by the luxurian and the businessman, great rich businessman, when they are sparing these animals due to their food items, celebration, big birthday parties, marriage ceremony, what not? Next, please. So these poor people on one city, they are not getting this essence. Next, please. So actually this year it was estimated by huge loss of biodiversity during, and all this loss of biodiversity is caused, some of the reason is the bushmeat or animal meat. 140 countries met in Rome and they prepared the 20-point charter for ecological restoration and biodiversity conservation, and who is preparing a world conference, but it was not being possible. That it was Kunming, but due to COVID-19 situation, everything was locked. But they have prepared one protocol to conserve this animal, particularly those animals which are used by the medicinal purposes. And China is making, next one please, China is making the big market of these medicinal purposes. This intensification of these epidemics and this cohesion between the human, animal, this bacteria, this virus. It is not today's world. If we start from the Neanderthal man, it was coming from this one. And these stages of this man and its cohesion with these epidemics is related with the biodiversity. That is why it is sometimes told that the biodiversity and climate change is the two sides of the single coin. Next, please. I'm coming to the last part of my presentation. As you see that all people are thinking that why this COVID-19 situation, why this virus, why this bacteria, they are causing, why these microbes, they are causing it. You see, very recently in 2018, 30 scientists of 9 countries, they mentioned that whatever the climate change we are observing, that is due to the impact of the microbes on the climate change and the impacts of the climate change on the microbes. And I can tell you a simple example of it. If you consider the number of microbes in the ocean, it is 1 into 10 to the power 30. What a huge number of it is if you want to consider. If you connect one by one, then you see the 16 galaxies, you can spin the 60 galaxies around the world, around the universe. And the total weight of it, it is more than, or it is equivalent to 275,000 blue whale. That is the biggest mammal so far. And the total weight is 1,000 times more than the biomass of the human in the terrestrial microbes. Okay, so next one, please. So we are losing these microbes in one hand. They are also responsible for it. Now the environmental impacts on these microbes, why they are coming here and what is the reason behind it? It was explored by the scientists, those who are working in the Antarctica and in the permafrost. These microbes which is available, which was buried into this permafrost, now they are coming out. As you know, that the temperature of the Arctic and Antarctic surface temperature is rising. It is 3 times more than the terrestrial temperature. So next one, please. So some of the scientists, they have explored the habitats of these microbes from the permafrost. These microbes, from where they came, it has been told that these microbes presented or remain within the body of the human being. And it remain within the ice box. The ice box, which is 30 to 40,000 years old. It is not the story. It is truth that the NASA has also discovered these microbes from the Alaska and named them Cyanobacterium pleistocene, which is obtained from the Pleistocene era. That means during this phase, the microbes are existing, and now they have explored this microbes from this glacial period. And this is not only some of the scientists from the Novosibirsk virology and this biotechnology, they have also discovered some of the viruses and bacteria from the southern Siberia. And this similarity of these viruses, it is also proved by the consequences of the pandemic, which was existed and came to this earth. Next one, please. Next one, please. So this Claverie, they have identified the Pithovirus siberian and the similarity of this virus with the Spanish flu, that was the epidemics in Europe. And if you see the first hominid man, that is the Neanderthal, and Denisovan, they lived in Siberia, and it was affected so many viruses at that time. And these viruses isolated by the different scientists from the permafrost. Next, please. Next, please. Now this, you see the smallpox virus, which came into after 120 years from the Koyama River. And these are the pathogen and the microbes, which causes the contamination in the entire village of riverine areas. They have got some similarity with the smallpox, which was obtained in the year 1890. Next, please. Next, reindeer chobi wala slide ta dekhao. Next, please. Okay, this is a very interesting story. This is in Russia, Siberian region, a village which is called Yamal Peninsula. In October 2016, a boy of 12 years old and 20 people was affected due to anthrax. The boy died and 20 people were hospitalized. When the scientists observed from where this anthrax came and affected the scientist, they have explored that 75 years ago, a number of reindeer, they died and buried in the permafrost. And during this year, in the summer region, due to melting of the permafrost, these viruses came and affected the village, the nearby village, by means of soil, by means of water. So you think about it, number of reindeer in the 19th century, at least 2 lakh in number, they were died and buried in the permafrost. So if this disease come out from this permafrost, what will happen in the nearby region? That means this Pandora's box of disease will open and it will cause another pandemic or outbreak in the earth. Because the loss of this Antarctica ice, which is more faster, you see, 220 gigaton per year this time. And the some region you have seen that it is going to cover with the, due to huge temperature, covered with the polythene coat. So, my friends, my distinguished members, we have to think about it, that if you want to see, if you want to get rid of the virus, it is not possible. It is possible because this infestation of this virus or bacteria, in some cases, we can only prevent through the medicine or vaccine. This is the duty of our young researchers to get vaccines and again to fight against the viral diseases in near future. Lastly, I would say, I can strongly say that COVID-19 and climate change teach us. In consonance, it was uttered by principal man that we are as strong as the weakest link when the climate change is looking glamouringly to us. So with this presentation, I must thank everybody to stay home and remain connected with the neighbors, with the man, with the human being. Thank you. Namaskar.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful. Thank you presentation. This is time now for interaction.
I have taken 5 minutes more. I request 5 minutes, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
No problem, sir. It's okay.
Okay. Now, Sudhir Babu.
So, this is time for question and answer session. Lots of questions are there in the chat box. So, Subhade is asking how micro pollution like COVID-19 pandemic act as a component for mass extinction. Sir.
Okay, see, that the unitary concept, if you go for that, in different cases of mass extinction, we have seen that somehow it is 83% of the species loss, somewhere it is 56% of the species loss. Similarly, this pandemic which is resulted maybe due to human activity can cause, don't think that this is the loss of human being, but it is not the loss of human being, it is the loss of species. Please try to correlate with these epidemics, not only COVID, any epidemics, with the loss of the species. That means the biodiversity loss is due to the climate change. That means there is a change in the temperature due to carbon dioxide production. This change in the concentration of the carbon dioxide resulting into temperature change. As a result, this permafrost is melting. So we are getting the number of species, number of viruses within this earth. So this unitary concept can ultimately level into this extinction, because mass extinction is only happen with this number of evidences or incidences in accumulation, and it is done only due to some catastrophic effect. It might be in your mind that we have not seen it, this catastrophe, but wait for it.
Okay. Our next question from Suparna Kobiraj. She is asking, how much has climate change affected West Bengal in the last 10 years, and in last 6 months, how much it recovered?
Okay. This is a very nice one. You don't, I must mention that don't think the West Bengal as a the single state of it. Whole world is affected. And you see the climate change that is occurred due to deforestation, huge urbanization or industrialization. And when you have seen this climate change is occurred and affected West Bengal, if you consider the rainfall, if you consider the total incidence of the rain, it is affected due to this climate change, due to this invasion of this temperature, which is affecting us. And really, the point is very pertinent that during this phase of lockdown, or certainly sometimes which is called this COVID-19 situation, which turned the phantom cities, there is no industrial activities, there is no transportation. Yes, there are some improvements in the atmospheric area. There are some improvement in the water body, but this is very, very temporary. You see, this is very, very temporary. So this effect I can say.
Okay, the next question. The IPCC report on 1.5 degrees centigrade increase in global temperature, where they explained about the problems if temperature increases by only 1.5 degrees centigrade only. So the point I am trying to draw is that if temperature increases by the rate, will we be facing a new climax environment from another?
Yes. One thing, you see the effect of the climate, this global temperature change in the global temperature, we have seen the food basket. That means the production of the food which was shifted. Some of the drought region, once upon a time they do not produce the crop, now they are producing crop. And when there is a huge production of crop, now they are not being able to produce the crop. So in this way, due to climate change, this agricultural crop from where we are getting our food security will be destroyed. And it is obviously, as you mentioned, some of the area, they are positively affected by this climate change to become the new area where the precipitation, in one hand, there is no precipitation resulting into desert, but in some cases, there are some precipitation due to climate change, due to shifting, there are some desert area, they become getting the rain, and some of this area, the man is making some crops there. So this way we can discuss our climate change theory. And you see, for your information, 2020, it was declared as the peak season from where we have to decline, we have to reduce this temperature not more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. And I don't know, I cannot guess it, I cannot predict it, but the COVID situation, really, what man cannot do, the COVID situation can bring forth these incidents. The temperature is not rising right now more than that. But it's a guess, it's my assumption, I think. And there is a huge, you see that the grace in the atmosphere. So the atmosphere is become more lively, habitat become more lively. You have seen the wild animals are coming into the street. These are and the total NOx and SOx and PPM, RPM, SPM, this amount is less. So man can breathe very nicely, and man can talk about from their own corridor to balcony to the other people. So in this way, they are facing this one.
Okay, our time is very short, so I am taking the last questions from Upama Das. Can a virus survive in permafrost for a long time without finding its host?
Yes, yes. The virus, even some of the virus and Covichilis, they have drilled 2-mile depth of the permafrost, and they have identified the bacteria of 80,000 years old. The question is very nice, because how this virus remain there? It's a dark, no oxygen, but this is a very, very congenial place for the survival of the virus. Only the thing is that when we explore this virus from the 80,000 years old into the laboratory, and if they get the congenial environment, then they will start propagation, causing the disease. But sure, not most of the viruses, but some of the viruses revive. So they become causing outbreak or pandemic. Not all. As you have, I have mentioned in my slides, though it was very faster. Anyway.
Okay, sir. Thank you. I can say that one point sir have pointed out, important point, that there is no natural pollination now, which is really threatened for us. So
no, there are some natural pollination, but due to spraying of pesticides, we are losing the insects, those who are causing. Suppose you see one only bees, that means a honeybee, which is responsible for this one. And for the destruction of this pesticide, they are not doing this pollination. That is why there is a loss of this natural production.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you. I can say that our participants have got lots of knowledge and information from this lecture. It was a nice lecture. Thank you, sir. Now.
Only thing, Sujay, I'm calling you as Sujay, Dr. Sujay. If some of the participants, they are interested to have their queries which have not been entertained this time, but I'm ready to satisfy. If my knowledge is extended up to that, you can give my mail ID to them, so that if they want to interact with me, I will be very, very happy. And it can be communicated through Deep Chakraborty also. Then because I do like my students only. I'm dedicated.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. This is so. Okay. Thank you, sir. This is so kind of you. Thank you again for your wonderful lecture and nice interaction. Thank you, sir. Now I request.
Sir, that's why, sir, we like also. Hello, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. It may be special attention to me from your end. I know. Okay, thank you, madam.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Principal Madam, for giving me this opportunity to share my views with you, and you have given me this evening to listen to the your speech also. Thank you. Thank you.
Very informative and very colorful presentation, sir. Thank you on behalf of the college. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Namaste.
Now I request Professor Bornali Dotto, Head of the Department of Mathematics, to formally introduce our respected speaker, Dr. Rajorshi Dotto.
থ্যাংক ইউ কৃষ্ণাদি। শোনা যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ।
I would like to introduce our esteemed guest lecturer, Dr. Rajashri Mitra, for today's one-day national webinar on aspect of biodiversity and climate change issues in present scenario. Currently, Dr. Mitra is an assistant professor and head of the Department of Environmental Science at Vivekananda College, Thakurpukur, Kolkata. He had done BSc in Zoology from Calcutta University, MSc in Environmental Science first batch from Kolkata University, and his PhD from Jadavpur University. He has over 15 years of teaching experience and over 2 years of experience in industrial and corporate research work. He supervised different research works, including PhD research, where disaster management had been the key focus area of his research. He has published around 21 works in various journals, books, chapter, proceeding volume, and has written a book for UG environmental science students in Bengali. More than 100 of his articles are published in different magazines, newspapers, and newsletters. Presently, he is carrying out UGC minor research project on assessment of sustainability with special emphasis on adaptive capacity at the coastal areas of Sundarban. Now, I request Dr. Mitra to deliver his valuable opinion on climate changes as driver of mass extinction. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Principal ma'am, and all other distinguished guests and students. One correction, just the project is already finished and submitted. So whatever, let me present my presentation. Thank you, Dr. Ghosh. Sir, your presentation has paved the way to start from some other corner or to look at the issue in from a different angle. So let me just start my presentation first. I hope the screen is, you can see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, sir has already set the tune of mass extinction, but my presentation is actually a quest. It will start from a question and hopefully I will end up with another question. So in between this question, let's have some food for our thought. And actually, we don't expect to see this particular scene ever in our future, but actually what we know, we are heading towards such type of things, and it is a very frequent scene what we can have in many areas with very limited amount of rainfall or sometimes some heat waves, that is different kinds of climate change throughout the globe. So here I will start with two questions. As I told, The question is how far climate change fuel the rate of extinction. And number two is a fundamental question: is there really a sixth mass extinction? So let me start with the climate change. I think most of us here has seen this photograph or seen these type of figures because it is taken from the IPCC assessment report, the recent assessment report which was published in 2014. So here, if we can see, there is a chance of temperature rise. The temperature is rising. The global temperature is rising, no doubt. And there are different models, that global climate models, where different the projections has been made with different assumption. So as per the highest assumption, which is known as RCP 8.5, we can expect by the end of the century, we can expect a hike of temperature uh, almost near 6 degrees centigrade. And with the most conservative assessment, it may be around 1 degree or 1.5 degree, or sometimes we will be able to check the increase. But the thing is that it is not temperature increase only, but the impact on the ecosystem. So here,
Dr. Mitra,
as we
hello,
can
Dr. Mitra.
Yeah.
Your slides are not visible clearly, so kindly change this slide into full screen mode, please.
Okay.
Sir, kindly.
Now is it okay?
Sir, kindly reshare your screen. Actually, some participants are telling that they are not. The slide is not.
Okay. Reshare.
Sir.
Stop sharing. Then should I share the whole screen?
Yes, sir. Entire screen.
Entire screen. Okay. Is it visible now? No, it's not.
No.
I am granting the permission. Why it is not allowing? Okay. Allowed. Oh, it's visible now, clearly?
Yes.
It's coming, sir.
Is it visible?
Not visible.
Okay. Not visible.
Not visible.
Apurvo, it is visible.
Why it's not visible?
No, sir. Actually, it is not visible right now.
I know what is happening. Allowed. Share the screen. Allowed. We are presenting to everyone. Okay, fine.
We are requesting participants to keep the station as sir is having problems to present the screen. So we can wait for sir presentation.
Dr. Chakraborty, Deep Chakraborty,
Yes.
I think sir
Yes.
has left the meeting, I think.
I think sir maybe thinking to rejoin again.
Okay. Dr. Mitra is trying to rejoin this webinar, but there is a technical problem.
Actually, I am trying to reach sir.
I called him.
Okay, okay.
He said that he is trying to rejoin.
Oh, okay.
Right. Dr. Mitra has joined again.
Now it is visible.
It is visible, sir. You can present, sir.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Yes, it's okay now.
Okay. Sir, you are. Sir, you are muted.
Dr. Mitra, please unmute your audio.
Sir, unmute yourself, sir.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Can you hear me? No.
Yes, sir. You are visible, audible, both.
Okay, fine. Sorry for the inconvenience.
No, it's okay. Just a technical problem.
So this is the observed temperature changes. So as I told you, keep it is taken from IPCC assessment report. It is the most current report. It was made into 2014. So as you can see, up to 6, it is predicted that there may be a rise in temperature up to 6 degrees centigrade. And as per the most conservative assessment, it may be as below as half a degree centigrade. But nowadays it is estimated that maybe there will be an increase in a rate of 2.8 degrees centigrade by the end of this particular century. Whatever it be, here you can see the pattern of the environmental changes, or rather temperature changes throughout the globe. Here, if we notice something, there is something unique, that the higher temperature ranges, higher increase is being taken place somewhere. The highest increase points are these dark solid colors, and most of the changes around 2 degrees centigrades are taking place in the terrestrial region, and that too in the temperate region. And some of the no change, or there is some inverse effect in some areas near Arctic. Now the thing is that if it happens, if the temperate region is getting much more warmer than the tropical region, then it means something to the biodiversity itself. Otherwise also, this particular trend where either the data is insufficient here in the Antarctic area and above the Arctic area, or these blue areas where the temperature going down or there is no change. This is a very important area for the global climate, because of the fact we have a global conveyor belt. I can show you that belt here, uh, which rotates throughout the globe, and actually around this area there is a change. The shallow high temperature ocean flow goes downward, and the cold flow starts from this region, and again it runs like this, and again the changes happen here. So if this area is getting warmer, 2 degrees centigrade warmer, and this area is getting 0.5 degrees centigrade cooler, then there will be a drastic change in temperature, and that type of change may ultimately lead to the breakage of that global conveyor belt, which overall controls the overall upliftment of nutrient from the deep sea to the coastal region, and also which controls the overall global circulation of any kind of air or wind or ocean flows. And those are the controller of our global climate. So it will become a vicious cycle, and the pattern we can see here that leads to that vicious cycle, where because of this pattern, further global warming or further disruption in the global climate may happen. Disruption means disruption in the pattern of the climate, I would like to say. This is the projected changes as per the most conservative estimate, and this is as per the roughest estimate. So you can see how the temperature is increasing, and again here you can see, if we know the tropical area ends here, so the most of the temperature increase is happening above the tropical area, that means in the temperate and the polar region, and which is actually a threat to biodiversity as well as the overall global energy budget. So now if we go forward, then you can see what are the impact of this type of climate change as per IPCC assessment report. And here these green patches are actually the biodiversity part, and as I am concerned about the biodiversity today, so I will be discussing only these green parts. And here again you can see the terrestrial biodiversity get impacted most in these areas, whereas throughout the world the marine biodiversity is getting affected. And again the impact over the biodiversity is comparatively less in the tropical region than the temperate and polar region. So the trend of stress which is coming on the overall global biodiversity is really something to be thought of. So if we make a what should I say, a collection of the changes that may happen, or if we put all the impacts of global warming, then what we can see, because of some physical changes, as we can see here, the heat wave, ocean warming, Arctic ice cap melting, sea level rise, we can, all these physical factors may lead to species extinction. Extreme weather events and increased rate of earthquake may be possible if there is a change up to even for 0.8 degrees centigrade. Now, as told and discussed in details about the different kinds of microorganism disease, tropical disease, so the risk is increasing, and as we know, the famine, global, the famine is inevitable if there is a global warming. But still, the global warming having some other effect is much more dreaded danger than the nuclear war or than the any kind of war event, because ultimately it may lead to mass extinction. What we are going to see, whether it is true or not, it may lead to different types of social unrest, like environmental refugee, food shortage, and also different kinds of species extinction. Now, if we would like to see some of the impact of global warming or those physical processes which are taking place, then you may have this type of scene where sea level rise has lead to some sorts of habitat loss for some of the animals. This happens when there is lack of moisture and lack of normal moisture and lack of trees over the soil, and ultimately due to some flash flood or a regular flow of water from river, this type of erosions are taking place, because if the biota are not there, the gluing factor of the soil are not there, and ultimately if this type of terrain is available everywhere, or the extent of this terrain is increasing, then we are going to lose the biodiversity. This is a very sad picture, although this is a very nice picture, but it is a very sad picture. And recently, one of my friend who visited Antarctica as the last expedition in the last expedition team, he has also told me something like this: there are some icebergs which are getting detached because of the global warming, and he has seen some penguins are even sailing up to 60-degree latitude. So here we can see a polar bear on a ice sheets, and it is flowing away. So we don't know how these type of animals who survive on the ice sheets, survive on the polar region, if there is so much of melting of ice, how they can survive, or how the habitat can be conserved. So although a nice picture, but it's a very sad picture. He is in fact losing its homeland. We know global warming is closely related, actually not global warming, actually the increment in the carbon concentration or carbon dioxide concentration is closely related to the acidification of the sea, and that leads to this type of coral bleaching. And we are losing, we know coral is a very productive ecosystem, and if there is rampant coral bleaching, so we will soon lose a lots of biodiversity, even if all those biodiversity below the sea is not listed under any kind of document on the earth. So we are witnessing these type of changes because of the climate change. And very recently, there are several occasions of forest fire, which is, although there are debate how the forest is getting fired so much, how how why it is happening. Maybe there are some development pro-development lobbies, whatever be the debate, but the global warming has something to do with this frequent forest fire. And everywhere we can see at from every corner of the globe, we are getting some news of forest fire in very recently. So these are some effect on biodiversity what we can see, but there are some effect on biodiversity which cannot be probably shown in the photograph, or cannot probably come to us or come before us in form of a photograph, but they comes like a document or like some records. One of that most important is the migration or relocation of the species towards higher latitude. As we have seen, if the temperature is increasing in the temperate region and also in the tropical region, so those species which cannot survive in the tropical region because of the heat waves, because of the high temperature or some changes in the rainfall, maybe they are migrating towards the higher latitude where the favorable condition will be available. Now, not only latitude, even if they start walking towards the higher elevation also, then also they are actually invading the area of some other biota. So the competition is increasing, and those which are weak or which cannot adapt themselves sufficiently will lose their are losing the habitat, and ultimately they are facing the threat of extinction. So there are chances that the tropical some of the tropical species will wiped out, and some of the tropical species will move upward and they will reach to the subtropics or to the temperate region. Then the temperate species or subtropical species will go migrate to temperate region, and temperate region will try to go to polar region. Then where the polar species will go. So competition cannot be avoided by migration or relocation of all the species. So we cannot expect that every species will change their place and they will survive. No, they will not survive, and maybe we will not notice the change, and ultimately one day we'll see there is no individual of a particular species and they got extinct. And this type of trend is leading to the loss of endemism also. Because of the loss of habitat, because of the competition, some of the endemic species are losing their own habitat, they are losing their niches, and maybe if they lost the fight, lost the competition, then ultimately they will be wiped out. And here comes the role of invasive species. It may be anthropogenic, it may be natural. Now, if it is due to the relocation of the species or migration of the species, then that is a natural invasion. And that natural invasion may lead to the loss of endemism. Or sometimes it is anthropogenic, because if a farmer is farming with a particular crop today, and tomorrow he cannot have the productivity because of the uncertainties in the climate change, or in the climate factors like rainfall, like temperature, etc., then it is expected that he will try to change the crop. Maybe he will go for a high yielding varieties, or maybe he will go for a new varieties, and he will introduce that particular varieties in his own area, or a community will do that. And whenever that will happen, the endemic species or the local species, I can say in other words, those local species will be replaced by the new species. And if that species is having the invasive vigors, that means it is having more vigor, it is the invasive species are having their own ecological strategies to survive in a new region. So if they're having that vigor, then ultimately the local species will be lost. And what is happening today? Earlier, we used to have several species in different areas around us, even in the agro ecosystem. But nowadays, we cannot see those species. Those species has been replaced by the invasive species in those areas. So ultimately, maybe we will even lose the germplasm. Then another point, another thing what is happening very nearer to us is salinization of estuaries, leading to the loss of mangrove biodiversity. As there is sea level rise, as there is some changes in the ocean current, so what is happening? The more and more saline water is invading the creeks. Even in Sundarban, we have witnessed that thing. The salinity of the creeks, the salinity of the estuarine rivers are increasing. As the salinity of the estuarine rivers are increasing, so what is happening? Those mangroves which cannot survive in high salinity, all the mangroves cannot survive in all range of salinity. There are stratification of mangroves as per the salinity. So, for example, if we take the example of Sundari plant, that is the plant on which the name of Sundarban was derived, the Sundari Heritiera formis. Nowadays, Heritiera formis is not available in the coastal region or near coast. Rather, we can have some Heritiera formis in the backward region, like somewhere near Canning or somewhere in Jharkhali. That means in the inner Sundarban we are getting Heritiera formis, and that too in very low. The population is very low. We are having very limited number of Heritiera formis nowadays in Sundarban. But the Vitarkanika estuary, as there is a spit known as Gahirmata spit, and there are source island which is protecting the creeks or the Vitarkanika and Maipura Dhamra river from the direct insurge of saline water in Vitarkanika river or by the side of Vitarkanika river. We are having a good population of Heritiera formis. So it shows that salinity is having something to do with the mangrove species migration, and mangroves are migrating upward. So ultimately, there will be a time when some of the species will be wiped out from their own region. And another threat, what we cannot see, it has already been discussed in details, that melting of permafrost, which may lead to return of ancient disease-causing organisms from both human and wild species. There are several studies of this finding, and Sir has already explained in details how it can happen and how likely we are going to have a vast amount of it. So IUCN also have some observation on how species are reacting to the climate, changing climates. So what they say, that around 1 degree centigrade rise in mean global temperature is causing serious and often unexpected impact on species, affecting their abundance, genetic composition, and behavioral survival. Species diversity declines diversity declines threaten the services that nature provides to people. That means if we consider the ecological services like the ecosystem acting as carbon sink, it is acting as a source of nutrient, it is acting as a climate regulator. But if there is a change in the species diversity, then these roles will not be played by the ecosystem itself. And sometimes it has also been found that the carbon sink areas has turned to be a carbon source. Earlier, it was a forest which used to absorb the carbon dioxide, but now because of some unique changes on the pattern of carbon sequestration and in the composition of biodiversity, that particular region has become a carbon source. Enhanced rate of drought, forest fire, coral bleaching due to climate change lead to loss in carbon sink capacity and enhance the temperature further. And tropical plant diseases are growing day by day, posing food security problem of invasive species and introduction of invasive species. So it has also been discussed earlier. So if we summarize these two factors, then also we find a shifting monsoon, uncertainties in soil quality degradation, sometimes leads to invasion. habitat loss, habitat fragmentation, and shrinkage of habitat leads to competition. And now, if there is proper adaptation, then maybe we are not going to lose the species. But if there is no proper adaptation, then that will lead to the extinction. So this is how the climate change is related to different types of extinction threats, or how climate change is going to change the biodiversity on the globe, or how climate change is threatening the biodiversity of the globe. So our first query ends here, that okay, climate change are having these type of changes, or it is driving the biodiversity in this type of way. Now question arises, and the second question comes, maybe we are having a mass extinction, or may not be. The claim that we are in the midst of a mass extinction was raised in early 1990s by Wilson, I think, first. In 1989 and in 1993, in two papers, he told that there are a very fast rate of extinction, and we are going to lose the species very fast, and it is perhaps 100 to 1,000 times more. The pace of extinction is 100 to 1,000 times more than the previous mass extinction. So if we talk of the mass extinction, then the definition of mass extinction says that there must be a loss of more than, equal or more than 75% of the species on the earth within a very short period of time. Sometimes it is within 2 million years or less. Then that can be termed as mass extinction. So if we question whether the rate of extinction is really that of a mass extinction or not, then we have to see how we are, what was the past mass extinction, and how we are losing our species today. So here we can see these five were the five major mass extinction, where in Ordovician period we lost 85% of the species. In case of Devonian, it was 75. Then the massive mass extinction was there in the Permian time. Then there is Jurassic event of 80% loss, and there is 76% loss in Cretaceous event. And now, if we say the recent year in the Cenozoic era or in Holocene, we are having the last mass extinction of 6. I don't know that he will answer that, because I am putting the question only. But if we see the probable causes behind all these mass extinction events, then along with different types of catastrophes, different types of geological features, other global changes, we will see somewhere all the mass extinction are related with CO2, reduced CO2 sequestration, or global warming, or ocean acidification, or both. The oldest one was having reduced CO2 sequestration. There was marine regression, there was uplift in weathering, and that led to reduced CO2 sequestration. Maybe that is the cause of mass extinction. In the second one, we got global warming, we got deep marine anoxic water. As I told you, there are some changes in deep marine water flow in the global conveyor belt. In the third one, the most massive mass extinction happened because of the Siberian volcanism, global warming, deep marine anoxic water concentration, both in oceanic and terrestrial rains, and ocean acidification. The fourth one had increased CO2 level, global temperature increase was recorded, and there was calcification crisis. That means, which is to some extent similar to that of coral bleaching. In case of the last one, that is the Cretaceous event, there was also CO2 spike and global warming. And it is believed that during that particular mass extinction, the Deccan Plateau was formed. So all the historic mass extinction are saying that there are chances, there are some linkage with CO2 increase in CO2 and increase in temperature of the Earth. So here is a record of extinction since 1600s. I have taken the source is Reid and Miller. So from 1600 to 1989, total extinct number of extinct species were like that under different groups, whereas the approximate number was like this. And you can see the maximum extinction happened for the mammal groups of mammal, followed by birds. And then all these were below 1% of extinction, but still the extinction is something that is continuous. Now there is debate that whether the extinction is natural, whether it is the natural extinction or we are leading to anthropogenic extinction, and that's why this mass extinction can be attributed to the human civilization, or it is the anthropogenic extinction. So as per the latest IUCN red list, till date, the total number of species assessed is only 1,20,372. But in 2007, it was only 16,928. So the IUCN is trying hard, and their target is 1,60,000 by end of 2020. So they are trying hard to assess the species according to the criteria to put them in the categories threatened to the extinction. And here we can see right now whatever number of species they have assessed, actually it is believed that around 2.1 million species are known. And maybe the total number of species is 15 million. 12 to 15 million on the earth, we are having total number of species. But among those, only 2.1 million is known. And among those, only 1,20,000, that means 0.12 million, has been assessed to identify the threat of extinction. And the rate of species comes under the threatened category is 27% of all the assessed species. Already they have recorded 882 extinct species. Whatever data is presented here, it is till December 2019, and extinct in the wild is 77. And these are some raw data from IUCN red list. So we can see this much of species are facing the threat of extinction. They are extinct already. So we need not to think of this because we cannot revive them back. Rather, we can do something with this part only. But we have to preserve this much species at least. So question arises whether really the mass extinction is there. Say it is really we are in the midst of 6th mass extinction or not. So that what is the trend? As per a recent,
I am interrupting you. We are on above the actual schedule time, so
okay.
Kindly you have only
within 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Yeah. So there is a paper in June 2020 where it has been reported that 515 species among 29,000 species to be at the brink of the extinction, as they are having less than 1,000 individuals. And it has been found the extinction leads to extinction, because if some of the species is extinct, then automatically the other species associated with it in that particular ecosystem will also face the threat of extinction, and the total biodiversity of that area may collapse. So that is the trend which is being observed everywhere. Even IPCC also reminds us that while only a few recent species extinction has been attributed, if we consider those number, the 77 that or 815 species only extinct, right now. But that is not the factor. But natural global climate change at rate slower than current anthropogenic climate change caused significant ecosystem shift and species extinction during the past million years. We have to keep it in mind. And all these climate changes are leading to habitat modification, overexploitation, and introduction of invasive species. So, are we looking ahead? Again, the end question comes. What we have gathered through these slides or through this data, we have gathered that enhanced greenhouse effect and climate change has been a reason behind most of the previous mass extinction event. Mass extinction occurred within a short period of order of thousands of years, if not million, when 75% of more species get extinct. Now we have recorded 27% of the assessed species to be threatened to extinction within a span of only 200 years. So if it is mass extinction, then it may take 1 million years, even. But within 200 years, 27% of the known species or 27% of the assessed species are being threatened of extinction. The projected rate of global warming with business as usual is really close to be able to wipe out most of the Earth's ecosystem integrity. The thing is that the climate change is not that maybe it is not directly affect all the species, but it is affecting the ecosystem as a whole. So the objects in mirror are closer than they appear. So now we have to think which side to choose. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Mitro, for your wonderful presentation of a very relevant topic. Now the session is open for interaction. This session will be hosted by Professor Sujoy Naik.
Thank you, madam. There is no questions in the chat box. Participants are requested, if you have any question, you can ask Dr. Mitra directly. We shall entertain.
That will be better.
That will be better. We shall entertain 2 or 3 questions because we are actually we are short time. So you can ask him directly.
Professor Mitro, your presentation was beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you
for this splendid talk.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, thank you, sir. So now we are moving to our third part of the technical session, and I request Dr. Sujoy Naik, Assistant Professor, Department of Mathematics and Secretary, Teachers Council, to introduce our third esteemed speaker, Mr. Sumanto Kundu.
Thank you, madam. It is my great pleasure that Mr. Sumanto Kundu is working as Senior Program Officer Wildlife with the Corbett Foundation and based in Kaziranga National Park, India. He has been working in the field of wildlife and biodiversity conservation projects, especially on elephants, wildlife corridors, and human-wildlife conflict since 2006. He had been associated with many renowned organizations such as GB Plant Institute of Himalayan Environment and Development, Asean Nature Conservation Foundation, Center for Ecological Sciences, and Wildlife Trust of India, WTI. During his long span of career, he had worked in different landscapes of India, such as West Bengal, Odisha, Uttarakhand, Bihar, and Assam. His prime interest of study is community-based human-wild conflict mitigation strategy, ecology of elephants, wildlife corridors, and wildlife movement patterns. Today, we will talk on mammals of West Bengal conservation insight. I am inviting Mr. Kundu to deliver his lecture. Please, sir, and enlighten us with your knowledge. Mr. Kundu.
Thank you, everyone. I am very much happy to be associated with this program. And am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, sir, you are
Yeah.
audible.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Basically, I am. I'll try to put some focus on the wildlife or mammalian diversity of the West Bengal, with some issues regarding to their conservation. So this will be like there will be like lots of pictures and other thing, and I am very much thankful to my previous speakers. They have like enlightened us with so many other things, like more technical parts. So I will be just doing something very lightly and lightheartedly, but I hope that you all will like the presentation. So I'm going to present my thing, and can I know how much time I will have?
You can
Hello.
take yes, you can take 35 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Okay. One minute. Just. Is it visible?
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. So mammals of West Bengal and their conservation. So I will just pass on a few slides very quickly. So we all know about the mammals, like what is the like whom we can call mammal, and what is the like how they have evolved. So it is like very small thing. So we have already studied this thing, but there are some classification, broad classification about the mammals. Like majority of them are placental mammals. Then we are having egg-laying mammals, and then marsupials. Both these two, monotrematas and pouch mammals like marsupials, are little bit primitive in nature, and placental mammal are the most advanced stage of mammals. So if we go, we see this kangaroo, placental mammal, like this uh, sp- uh, spiny monotremes are all found in Australia. So Australia has a very unique biodiversity. So we won't discuss many things about Australia. Then some very small interesting facts. We have very smallest mammal is bumblebee bat. It is found in Thailand and Burma. Then we have largest. It is always the blue whale. Then we have largest land mammal is the African bush elephant, which is found in Africa. Then smallest primate, which is found in Madagascar, Barthis mouse lemur, and we have lots of other primate species found in Madagascar. It's like a heaven for the biodiversity. Then largest primate is gorilla, found in Africa. Then in India, largest primate is the Himalayan grey langur, and the smallest is the Malabar grey slender loris, which is found in southern India. And only ape found in India is the hulok gibbon, which is found in the northeastern state of Assam, Manipur, Mizoram. There. So mammals are the most advanced, and primates are the most advanced group among the mammals, and they have a very unique thing that is called vocalization. So this is a vocalization call of a western hulok gibbon, and you can hear this call approximately from 5 kilometers away if the weather is good. So they're found mostly in the northeast India, and they're facing a great extent of danger due to tree falling, poaching, and this jhum cultivation. So many parts of in northeast we have lost them. Then we have these small slides about the Barthis mouse lemur, eastern gorilla, Malabar grey sandal loris, and Himalayan grey langur. So these are the common thing. And now if we see the global pattern of distribution of mammals, we see that most of these tropical area are flooded with the mammal distribution. You see in India, this is the Indo-Burmese area hotspot. So and eastern Himalayas, and this is the Brazilian and tropical rainforest of Southern America. And as we go up in the Arctic and go down in the Antarctic region, we found very less mammalian species. But there are lots of marine species, and also their concentration is mostly concentrated in the tropical area. And whenever we talk about the animals, we sometimes say that what are the new world monkeys and the old world monkeys. You can see from this graph, it is clearly stated that new world monkeys are the monkeys which is found in the Southern American, and all the old world monkeys are found in Africa and Asia. And for unfortunately or fortunately, there is no natural distribution of primates are seen in Australia. So we come to India. We have a very large country, and we are blessed with 4 biodiversity hotspot. This is the Himalayan hotspot. Then we have in Indo-Burma hotspot. Then we have Western Ghats and a part of Sundaland, which is connecting the Nicobar Islands. So in northeast India, due to confluence of two zones, two biodiversity hotspot zones, the biodiversity is much higher. We are having mix of the animals from Southeast Asia, and we are having the animals from northern mainland of India. So you can say that as per the latest survey, 427 species has been reported from India, and WI have listed 224 species under Schedule Wildlife Protection Act, and among them 107 is the lying on Schedule 1, and Schedule 2 have 59 species. Schedule 1 is the highest category of protection given by Wildlife Protection Act. Then we have lost some animals. This is the Javan rhinoceros, which is to found in the Sundarbans we used to found, but it is gone due to hunting. And this is the Sumatran Dinosaurs, which is also found in northeast India, mostly in the Mizoram or Manipur area, but it is also gone. And then the last, I think this is the Asiatic cheetah. It is removed from India in 1952. So there is a now plan for reintroduction of cheetah from in India. Let's see. And unfortunately, we cannot say about leopards and tigers. And bringing another back cat will be a very difficult job for the government. And this is the Malabar civet. This is like last 50 years, there is no report of this animal. It is mostly found in southern India, Kerala, but there is no report. Unfortunately, a few days back, there is one video got viral in internet that one civet cat is seen in the road in southern India, but it was only a small Indian civet, but not the Malabar civet. The newspaper reports agency has given a wrong report. So now come to West Bengal. We have state tea, state animal, state flower, and our state animal is bagrol or mechobidal. It is called fishing cat. It's a very basic animal and one of the most important small cats in India. So we have lots of areas under protection, like we have tiger reserves, we have national parks, we have elephant reserves, we have conservation reserve, we have biosphere reserve, we have wildlife sanctuaries. And there's one small sanctuary, Jod Pokri Wildlife Sanctuary. It is found, it is near Darjeeling, and it is only for the protection of salamander, Himalayan salamanders. So if we are visiting, some of the people visiting Sandarpur, they can easily go and see salamanders there. And unfortunately, the tiger population, which is here somewhere in Boxa, unfortunately no signs of tigers, but few, I think 2 years back, there is sighting from Neora Valley National Park. Sundarban, we have lots of tigers, but unfortunately, we have got a few years back, we have got a visitor from unknown place. One tiger came to Lalgarh and it was killed. So this is the state of West Bengal. And why West Bengal have a very good diversity? Like we have got Himalayas, we have got tropical moist deciduous forests in the terai, then we have like plain lands, then we have this dry land or like lateritic soil land, then we have coastal areas and we have mangroves. So this is a huge diversity. But as soon as we go to the forest and river system, we found that forest in southern boundary in or South Bengal is mostly scattered and very fragmented. It is also true to North Bengal. It is very scattered and very fragmented. Only big chunk of forest is left in Boxa and Gorumara area. And Sundarban, it is only mostly a aquatic area and mangrove area is the largest part of the largest mangrove, but it is also getting some problem already mentioned by Rajesh Sridhar in his previous. So in recent there is a like this one report by Geological Survey of India. They have reported around 188 species. I think it is like 8 years back, and after that there's lots of studies, but I couldn't find any like concrete studies or which I can quote. So I have just gone through it. So we estimate that in West Bengal now there is around 215 or 210 species of different mammals, and majority of them are like Chiropteras and rodents. And we have got two endemic mammals. One is Bengal or Salt Lake Marsh mongoose. It is found mostly in the Salt Lake area. And then there is a sombre bird. And unfortunately, I couldn't find a very good photograph of these two animals. So I am sorry for that. And sombre bat is mostly found in Darjeeling area. So this is a very small bat, and Marsh mongoose is like more or less similar like to our other mongoose, but it is mostly found inside these aquatic or wetland areas. So now we go to protection of the animals. In India, we have protection through Wildlife Protection Act. There is like 1, 2, Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4 list, and there is Schedule 5 which lists vermin, and there is a Schedule 6 list. Vermin means like pest and other thing. So this mega Chiroptera or Indian flying fox is listed as a vermin. I don't know, but it is a very threatened animal also. So there is a need of reconsidering these animals. Like few years back, the Toke gecko was not in the listed. So, but there is a huge trade is going on Toke gecko in India, West Bengal. So eventually it got listed in Schedule 4, and now it is under protection. Then we have got this red list, IUCN red list. We see there's a lots of works been done. So this up to this list concern, it is okay. Then as we go on the right side, it is very disturbing. So majority of our Indian mammals are either in vulnerable or endangered or seer in this stage, and we have some extinct animal also. Then we have like international trade is there on wildlife and other mammals and flora. So CITES has listed around appendix. They have created 3 appendix: appendix 1, appendix 2, appendix 3. But after appendix, there is lots of animal like these porcupines, which is not listed in any appendix. So international trade is going on these things. So now we come to some threatened mammals of West Bengal. First, I will start with this Hanuman langur. This is there is I think 3 species has been reported from India, but not India. 10 species from India and 3 species from West Bengal. But mostly the problem is it is killed for bone and skull, and there is a huge demand of this, and there is a demand for meat also. And there's live animal trade, and the main problem these animals are facing this is rapid urbanization and habitat destruction. So lots of trees being cut, and so they are mostly arboreal in nature, but so they need big trees, canopies. But unfortunately, there is in the name of development, lots of trees have been chopped down in West Bengal in last few years. Big trees where this animal is to stay. So this is not directly climate change, but there is some effect. Then Bengal slow loris, though the name is Bengal slow loris, but unfortunately there is no proper sighting for last few years, and we estimate that it is a primate also. We estimate that it has been like wiped out from West Bengal. I think 2 years back there is some confiscation has been done, but it was the source was traced from Assam. So in North Bengal, Boxa and Mohananda and upper reaches of Neora Valley has some possibility, but till date there is no sign of this animal, and probably we have lost one species from our West Bengal. Then Assamese macaque, I haven't gone to research macaque. Assamese macaque is, though it is name is Assamese macaque, it is not. We cannot see much of Assamese macaque in Assam. Mostly we see them in North Bengal. You can see them if you have gone to Shebak. This there is a famous bridge in Shebak. You can see lots of Assamese macaque, and there is a difference between Assamese macaque and the common research macaque. And the ram portion of these Assamese macaques are not reddish, and they are more brownish, and they prefer more forested areas. And this is a photograph from one of my friend has taken in Kaziranga. Then recently it has been rediscovered, his speed here. It is also hunted down for meat and fur. And another problem which we have seen about this animal, this is the gradual decrease in the grassland. It was previously found in all the North Bengal Terai region, and unfortunately it is only now found in some tracts of Jaldapara. So Jaldapara is facing a problem of gradual succession, ecological succession. Grassland is being replaced by the woody forest. So let's hope we can there is possibility that this species can survive for a few more years. Then the Gangetic dolphin, this is like national aquatic animal, and this is completely blind, and this is found in the riverian system of Ganges and Brahmaputra, and from Bihar, Chambal, West Bengal, Orissa, Bangladesh, and Assam, parts of Assam also. So the main problem is the pollution of the river, and this indiscriminate river transport system is affecting their ecology. And salinity, I have found some papers that salinity is also play an important role in their reproduction. So that might be a problem, and there is a very less awareness about this animal, because this part of body parts of this animal has been used for bait for other fishermen. So whenever this has been caught and after that it is being killed, its meats also consumed in some parts of West Bengal. So this is a video that this person is holding up a baby dolphin, and unfortunately that animal probably died because it was bleeding. Another video it can be seen that it's bleeding profoundly. This is a baby dolphin, unfortunate, but so we need more awareness about this thing. This is a Indian wolf. This is Nekre in Bengal, mostly found in the arid regions like Birbhum, Bakura, Purulia. And then the main problem is that this is also Schedule 1 animal, and site is also given them a Schedule 1. But you see the IUCN status is LC, means least concern. This is the problem. So IUCN doesn't follow the local demand. So they have found this animal is maybe probably in other parts of the country this is there, so they have given it a least concern. So but this population has gone down drastically in West Bengal. It's very very difficult to spot a wolf, because there is a superstition about this animal, that it's a child lifter and retaliatory killing, because they are more carnivorous in nature, so they sometimes go inside the human habitation and kill these ducks and chickens. So that's another problem. So we are in a losing battle in West Bengal. Then red panda. Fortunately, red panda, we are having a good recovery in red panda. Now red panda can be seen in Neora Valley and for some parts of Singalila National Park. and this red panda breeding center breeding program has also been successful, but there's a gradual temperature rise in the Himalayan area, so that is affecting their ecology. And there is a international demand for their fur and tails for Chinese ceremonies. This China has, like, they need everything. Chinese people need everything. They need tiger bones, they need rhino horns, they need bear biles, they need pangolin scales, they need everything. I don't know, for uh, so many purpose they treat everything with these animal body parts. And Wuhan is one of the most important wet market. And unfortunately in Northeast India, there is some wet market still, and there is a practice of eating wild meat is a, like, tradition in some parts of Northeast, in some segments in Arunachal and Nagaland. Then we have got Asiatic black bear, mostly found in Buxa and Naura Valley area. And same, the demand is for the gallbladder which and skin, and there is a demand of this body parts, especially fat, for some traditional medicine in India also. And conflict is a major issue because they are carnivorous in nature, so they kill animals. So in retaliatory killing, this is being killed. So habitat shrinkage is like they're like cold loving animal, but sometimes due to they come to lower altitude, and especially in Boxa, and get killed. I don't know. This is a very bad situation. In front of my eyes, when I was in 2006, I was in Boxa. I had seen one getting killed. And this is the sloth bear. This is found mostly in the arid regions like Midnapur, Birbhum, Purulia, Bakura, and this area, western Jhargram area. And this is a demand. This is you have seen that the Madarika Khel, that Bhaluk dance, bear dancing was a prominent thing in India. But now it is, unfortunately, that has been stopped. But still there is a demand for gallbladder and skin, other body parts. So this is being killed. And conflict is a issue because of the, in South Bengal, many people got killed because while they are trying to collect mohua flowers from the trees, and that time they get killed, come in front of these animals and get killed. So we have to be very careful. And unfortunately, that thing is not there in West Bengal. That awareness drive in some parts of West Bengal is very slow, and our biodiversity board should take up some projects for awareness generation. Then we have otters. Otters also having some problem with this, meat trade and pet trade. And a few years back also there is a like huge demand in Bangladesh about these otters. They used to like fishing was done with these trained animals. So there is a like capture of otters from Indian part, and they then travel to Bangladesh. But I think it is now stopped little bit. Then our state animal, mature biral or bagrol, or the fishing cat, mostly killed due to retaliatory killing and habitat shrinkage. They prefer wetlands where fishing can be done, and Howrah and other parts of this animal where there is a like here some grass and wetland is there. They are habitating. They stay in those areas, but unfortunately these wetlands is converted to industrial area or human habitation, and now they are losing a battle. And few I think in every week you will find a news about the fishing cat being killed. And there is a one project by one small girl or lady researcher named Tiyasha Adha. We should know about her because she has came forward and put this species into global level. Because before that nobody actually bothered about fishing cats and other things. So in Howrah and other parts, she had created a awareness drive, and people are saving this cat. This is Tiyasha Adda. She has also recipient of Nari Shakti Puraskar from our. This is Prime Minister. This is Rashtrapati Sri Pranab Mukherjee. Then we come to pangolin. This is the most trafficked animal. So in West Bengal, we have got two species. One is Indian pangolin, which this having a very small air flap, and this Chinese pangolin. This is found mostly in North Bengal, and so both of these species are highly in trade, mostly demand for meat and scales. The scales goes to other parts of the state, and through this is a major route is through Mizoram, sorry, Manipur, and after this all these collects to come to in West Bengal, and then through More there is a border, international border through More it goes to, and this is also facing a tremendous habitat destruction because of this, and there's a misconception about this animal, about this flesh eating or something, because it feeds on ants, so it digs up the soil, and so there's a like very big misconception about this animal. Then we go to rhino. Rhino, there is nothing to say. We have a very good population rate of rhino. In West Bengal, rhino population is increasing. I think it is in the second after Assam, which is having at least 2,500 rhinos. And but the problem is that Jaldapara needs a new home. This rhino needs a new home because in Gorumara and Chapra, Jaldapara, there is a shrinkage because of the animal. Huge number of mega herbivores are staying in this area. So Patlakhawa has been selected for a new site, but till date this relocation or translocation hadn't been done. So and so we need some genetic exchange of this animal. Then these animals are very close, stays very close to our homes. This is called large Indian civet, and then we have this small Indian civet, and we have this common palm civet or bham. So these trees can be seen very frequently in, close to our homes, and this they are mostly treated and mostly killed for their sand glands. Sand glands have some chemical properties that has been used. So it is a urban animal, so you can see them in our households, but retaliatory killing has been wiping out their population from the urban areas. Then I am talking about this Indian flying fox. You see, this is like a schedule for 5 animal, but inside it is on 2. But there is a demand of this meat in traditional medicine, and they are suffering mostly from the developmental work. You see, this is from Beldaka, Murshidabad. One big tree has been chopped down, and see how many bears had lost their habitat. So huge number of bears. So this is like the development is done to our wildlife wealth. And this is a mongoose or beji, and this is very common, but this has been killed. Unfortunately or fortunately, most of our brushes, paint brushes, previously was used, was generated from the furs of these animals. So that was the demand of this animal. Then we have tiger. I am not going to discuss anything about tiger, but you see this animal, this graph, you see all of the body parts are being used by Chinese medicines for their medicines. So that's why there is a huge demand of China. In China, they are rearing tiger farms. They have tiger farms, but still they need animals from supply from the wild. That's why they have completely wiped out South China tiger. They are in Thailand, in other parts, population has completely gone down. Still in India, we have having the largest population of tiger, but we are in a very good grim situation. And this is the famous Lalgarh tiger. Probably it migrated from central India. And what we have done to this animal, like within 15 days, it was killed. Nobody knows. And it is killed during the hunting festival, this famous hunting festival. And the threat, this is the hunting festival. You see, this is the fishing cat and jungle cat. And this is baranas or water monitor lizards, and this is in Kharagpur railway station. So there is no awareness as such among the police department or the railway protection force, so they cannot stop these people from killing or taking away these animals. And this is open road they are going. So I don't know, but why, how come this is possible? This is need of large scale awareness. And I have there is a one video people are saying that they come for fun. This is a video, you can see that people are saying that we come for fun. You see this, how many animals being killed. So this is called as their for, and then we have this railway line problem. Majority of our elephants have been killed in this. You see, this red line is the railway line going through all the connecting all the major elephant habitat of North Bengal, and eventually, due to lockdown, there is no killings of elephants till date in North Bengal. But every year we lost lots of animals. And you see the why this is the conflict in North Bengal is higher and South Bengal is because we have this habitat is very much fragmented. So they need to move through this habitat because elephants and need more space to live. So that's why while going through from one forest patch to other forest patch, they they get they come in front of animals and humans, and there is the problem. We have I have experience with radio telemetry study. We have studied somewhere in Gorumara, and that animal used to go up to Nepal border and come back. So this is like a huge range of animals. They can travel up to 70 kilometers. And then we have lots of development projects, and we are having one development project in West Bengal coming up. This is like Sikkim connection of the railway line between Sikkim and Mahananda Shebok through Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary. This is a pristine wildlife habitat. We are having lots of mammals and birds in there, elephants. So I don't know what will happen in future. So if you compare the human population and elephant population increase in 2010 years, this is a huge population increase in terms of elephant population, because it is estimated that some elephants from neighboring country of Bhutan has also migrated to India because of this developmental activity going on in Bhutan. So we elephants and also some elephants from Assam also migrated to West Bengal. So this is the problem in West Bengal. And this is a story of human wildlife conflict. This is the one of the best photograph you have seen in recent. This is from South Bengal. This is taken by Biplav Hajra. And this is a human leopard human conflict. It's like huge because of this habitat shrinkage and habitat fragmentation. And lastly, I want to show you one photograph of this animal. This is orangutan. That are we responsible? Yeah, because India consumes one of the highest amount of palm oil in India. So we are not directly doing the destruction here, but we are responsible somehow, because you take a packet of chips and any like fast food, you go and you will backside you will see that refined palm oil written in everywhere, even a 5 rupees packet or 10 rupees packet. Every company is using refined palm oil as a main source of as a edible oil in India. So this is like India is the highest market, and the problem is that probably in Northeast India they are going to promote cultivation of palm oil, and that will be detrimental. So last I am ending my talk with a small video from Jane Goodall. This is a release of a chimpanzee. This kept in human captivity for a long time. We'll see. So Jane Goodall is one of the renowned primatologists in the world. She has spent her whole life in conservation of chimpanzees in Africa. So we have to be a little bit passionate about our wildlife and mammals. So I come to an end. I hope you liked my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Sumanto.
Thank you, Mr. Kundu, for your wonderful presentation. Now, this is time for interaction. I request Professor Sujoy Nayak to host this session.
Thank you, madam. There is a question from Ritobroto Mollik. He is asking that, is there any difference between Asian black bear and Himalayan black bear?
Asiatic black bear, Himalayan black bear is now renamed as Asiatic black bear because of this Homebridge has found that it is found outside Himalaya also. So that's why its name has been given Asiatic black bear.
Okay. Participants are requested, if you have any question, you can ask Mr. Kundu directly.
There is one question.
I can't hear you, Atin.
Mr.
I can't hear you.
You are not audible.
I can't. You are not audible. Can you type your question?
Yes, that will be better.
He's taking much time. No problem. I just tried.
One question came.
One question from Shravanti. Sarnabati. Pangolin are said to be the most.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Is there any chance to get back the again the Asiatic cheetah in India?
Yeah, there is a program by central government and NTCA is working on that. It's a very old project, like 10 to 12 years old project. They are now planning to bring some animal from Namibia and to reintroduce in India in Madhya Pradesh, some part of Madhya Pradesh. I forgot the name of the sanctuary, and they have already done the surveys. Has been done 10 years back. 10 to 12 years back, and they are now planning to reintroduce. But I told you already that we already having a battle of losing tigers and leopards very frequently. You see, so how that again getting a burden of another big cat, it is very difficult. Okay, so let's hope that will do good. And pangolin, Shravanti has a question. Pangolins are said to be a host species of COVID-19. So unfortunately, it was expected through Manipur border More. How can such a traffic be banned? So there is banning is already there. So you cannot stop people do the illegal activities. So people, those who are in wildlife trade, are all doing the illegal activities. So pangolins, you cannot blame pangolins for this thing, that COVID carrier or like this thing. Nobody actually knows whether the pangolins or the bears are the carrier of COVID or not. But there might be a propaganda. But okay, if the pangolin hunting goes down due to that blame, it is good. But unfortunately, people has to be very strict, and in Northeast India there is a tendency of eating meat of the pangolin, so that's another issue. So this is like a tribal ritual, we cannot stop that thing. So that's the problem here.
Okay. So there is no question. Okay, Mr. Kundu, I am sorry that we have reduced 5 minutes time from your actual time of lecture. You know that, I think you know that we face the practical problem during a webinar. Problems like battery life of laptop, mobile, and the limitation of mobile recharge, net recharge, and the network problem. So we are sorry. But your lecture was excellent. Thank you for this lecture.
So if somebody has some other questions, I have they can. I am typing my email address, so they can get me yeah, send their queries. I will try to do as much as possible. eskundu@corporate This is my email address, so they can give me a, like send me a message. I will certainly get back to them.
Okay.
And this is my part of the awareness generation is part of my job description also. So I am very thankful to all the members of college and very friends of the environment for giving this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, madam.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you, Sujoy, and thank you, Mr. Kundu, for your wonderful presentation. Now, I request Madam Nobonita Chakraborty, member of Friends of Environment, to deliver a speech. Madam Nobonita Chakraborty, please.
Good evening, all my respected seniors, my beloved fellow and my juniors. I am Nobonita Chakraborty, the organizing committee member of Friends of Environment. Firstly, I would like to thank Netaji Nagar Day College for conducting such a webinar and for keeping Friends of Environment as a collaborating organization. Especially, I would like to thank Principal Ma'am for giving us this opportunity. I would also like to thank Dr. Deep Chakraborty, our president and co-founder, and Mr. Apurva Kole, the secretary and founder, and all other organizing committee members and the general members of Friends of Environment for giving and showing active support for conducting such a webinar. This is a greetings from Friends of Environment, a foremost committee of environmental degree holders society in West Bengal, India. Friends of Environment members spread all over India and abroad, who are doing their degrees in colleges, universities, and institutes, and also the common people are the dedicated members of our organization. We started our journey in May 2017 by conducting a free environmental health and sanitization awareness camp among the tribal people. Further, we have conducted several environmental awareness campaigns, seminars in different colleges, schools, roadside tree plantations, environmental awareness rally, waste management awareness, sanitary hygiene awareness, and good water management practices. In the recent past, we have extended our help to the flood-affected victims in Kerala by providing them essential medicines, clothes, dry food, potable water, etc. With a bunch of environmental well-wishers of many regions, not only in West Bengal, but also throughout the India, we have successfully been conducting the environmental awareness in each domain of the society. Basically, we have three branches: the Environmental Diary, Center for Environmental Research, Education and Development, CERED, and the Green Thinkers Academy. We, the environmental degree holders of the Friends of Environment, have created a platform of web blogging to conduct environmental awareness regarding environmental issues and consequences to fulfill our literal knowledge about the environment in the form of e-diary. E-diary is a diary of the nature and for the nature. We have already published a lot of blogs to common people and about the environmental aspects. This is an online magazine offering opinion, analysis, reporting, and debate on the present and future global environmental issues. This platform also dedicatedly doing several national and international seminars, conferences, and webinars fruitfully. We publish articles and newsletters and regularly update on our Facebook page. Please visit our official webpage www.ediary.foe.org.in. As to build awareness, the environmental education is mandatory. So, to fulfill the gaps between the societal awareness and the environment, we have initiated a center called the CERED, that is the Center for Environmental Research, Education and Development. The aim of the center is basically to promote the research, education, and development in the field of environmental science, environmental studies, management, health, engineering, development throughout the India and further. The center has started its journey with an online certification course on biomedical waste management, treatment, and disposal in post-COVID-19 environment, and it is running successfully and still continuously providing online certificates, workshops for the higher degree aspirants. Please visit our official website www.cered.fe.org.in. And the third comes the Green Thinkers Academy. It is a platform which is dedicated for the free distribution of environmental education for the society and the needy students. It will assist students from primary to higher level studies as well as a guide for the entrance exam at national and university level. It is basically a e-learning program and constructed as student-friendly online classroom education. With the words of Mr. David Orr, when we heal the earth, we heal ourselves. It's an utmost request from us to each and every common people of our society. Please conserve the natural sources in a sustainable manner. Prevent pollution, be a friend of nature and society. Give feedback continuously to the Mother Earth as possible. Please visit our official website www.org.in for further details. As we know that environmental science not only is giving a degree but also encourages the wisdom to be a key towards eco-friendly movement of our society. With these words, we are stretching our one hand towards you to take part with our environmental activities and become a friend of the environment. Friends of Environment Society urge to the common people, be with the nature and society. Thanks for your patience. Stay home and stay safe. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Nobonita. Thank you.
Thank you, Nobonita.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, I request Srimati Sangjukta Pan, Joint Convener of this webinar and Professor of Environmental Studies Unit of Netaji Nagar Day College, to deliver vote of thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. First, I would like to thank our respected principal, ma'am, Dr. Sonali Banerjee Josh, for organizing the webinar on aspects of biodiversity and climate change issues in present scenario, which is no doubt one of the most important topic today considering our environment. I would also like to thank Dr. Chanchal Guhorai, the IQAC and coordinator of Netaji Nagar Day College, for his endless effort to make this webinar a successful one. On behalf of Netaji Nagar Day College, I would like to thank our honorable speakers, Dr. Apurva Ratan Ghosh, Dr. Rajashri Mitra, Mr. Shumanto Kundu, for their valuable and informative speeches. Thank you, sir. A very special thanks to all the members of Friends of Environment India, especially Madam Nobonita Chakraborty, Dr. Deep Chakraborty, President and co-founder of this NGO, Mr. Apurva Khole, founder and secretary, Ms. Shuparna Kaviraj, for their technical support and cooperating with us in every way possible. And last but not least, I would like to thank all the participants, especially students present here, and making this evening a memorable one. Thank you all.
Now, I request our principal madam, Dr. Sonali Banerjee Josh, to declare the end of the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Krishna. So I think we have come to the end of a very fruitful evening where we have discussed biodiversity and climate change issues. We have had three very informative, very interesting presentations, each one unique in its own way. And we have had very good slides to see. And actually, I was missing out that uh, it's a long time that we have traveled due to this pandemic situation. And we had Mr. Shumanto Kundu right from Kaziranga. So that was, I think, a very welcome thing for all of us to be akin with nature. So again, once again, I thank all the resource persons and I thank all members of Friends of Environment Society. We would like to be associated with more such environment-related webinars, seminars, and other initiatives organized by, taken up by Friends of Environment Society. So with these words, I declare today's webinar closed. Thank you all of you, all participants.